morning, everybody. It's fall. So it's Michelle Alcorn here from Atlantic Canada Cooks here, and it's a beautiful, little bit cooler Sunday morning here in Atlantic Canada. And we are so excited to be welcoming everybody as always. And we are celebrating eating local. So for me, it's really been a passion project. Mom and I for 4 years. Hi, Dion. We've got our guests zooming in. For 4 years, we've really, started Atlantic Canada Cooks to connect individuals with what is going on locally. And here we are, and the very first day of fall, and you can feel it a little bit here. We were saying that we've got our hot tea, we've got some great drinks here.
Warm sweater.
A warm sweater. As you see, we've broken out a little bit warmer things, but it's about eating local. In Atlantic Canada Cooks, we say local is wherever you are. So wherever you happen to be in the world, find that local restaurant, go to a farmer's market, and just see who the local vendors are. And celebrating local gets even more fun when you have a local supplier to celebrate it with. And as you know, every week, Mom and I travel to the Moncton Farmers Market, and we knew she was going to be there, but we were so happy to see Erica Dunn from Dunn Right. And I know Erica, I've got, as I said, we'll have to get a new bottle. We're working our way through from Dunn Right sauce. And for me, like our favorite barbecue sauce, really that we've had, and I think she just spends so much time looking about nutrition and health. It made sure that it has all the great ingredients, because as we also say, when you start with great ingredients, you get great results. So we're going to be cooking some local dishes. I'm going to tell you about my menu in a minute, but Erica, why don't you tell us what's going on in the Dunn Right kitchen, and what are you going to cook?
Good morning, everybody. First, I want to say it's been exactly a year since the first time I've been on Michelle's show, and I'm so happy to be back. It's nice to see everybody again. Today, the Riverview Meat Market has like they're pork ribs, but they look like dinosaur pork ribs. They're gigantic. So I am going to be making pork ribs. You won't get to see the finished meal because as Michelle knows, these need to cook low and slow, but I will do a little video at the end, a nice little pan over. I'll do videos of me like basting them, and I'll create a nice little package at the end and post it in the group for you. Of course, in the last hour of cooking, I always baste them with the sauce. I don't put it on right away because I want my dry rub to get in there first, but that's what's going on over here.
And I love that, because one of the things we want to teach people, Erica, is about that cooking process. And as always, there's a few things that we don't cook right away as well. But let's talk about our menu. And I love that Erica just mentioned dry rubs, because we're like, I think I'm newly addicted to this. So Baker Rub and Smoke from Clare, New Brunswick, or Baker Leaf, New Brunswick. We were experimenting with them last week on a couple of recipes. And because I love chicken wings, and so does Mom, we have already got a package. We've got our chicken wings. Last night, I rubbed the chicken wings down with this. I added a little bit of maple sugar, because I want a little bit of extra sweet, even though when Stephen made this, he's got a little bit of brown sugar in there. I just wanted to amp the sweet up just a little bit more. And then the only other thing I added was some fresh cracked pepper. So all the other ingredients, but these I let sit overnight. So they already smell delicious, and I'm going to do those up in the air fryer, but I'm kind of looking at them and I feel like I might put a little extra rub on them because I can. And once they've sat overnight, it's sort of like a marinade, and now it's like pixie dust, just little, but it's all stuck to it. So when I put Mom's thinking it's on the bottom, but it's all stuck to it. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do those up in the air fryer today, just to get that really great taste. And you know what's awesome, Mom? I was going to make a sauce to dip them in. Thank you, Erica Dunn. I don't have to make a sauce to dip them in today, because my good friend I've got some of your amazing barbecue sauce, which I think is gonna make the perfect dip.
Yeah.
For these wings. I often get chicken wings at restaurants and they don't always dip them properly. So what I'm gonna do behind me, and we're thinking about eating local and what comes in local. We also love to share, we've got from Delisur Canada. It's Leaf and his wife's anniversary, so we wanna wish them a happy wedding anniversary. They're out doing some fun things together, but we have one of his empanadas here. And it was a special one that they did yesterday, and Mom,
Was good. I had one, I already ate it. For
we
lunch
already ate it
yesterday.
yesterday. So we're gonna warm that up as well, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about how. These rich flavors and this is his Venezuelan food, it's great. But we always say food is meant to be sauced. And we love it because he has his amazing garlic sauce.
So good.
So we decided to get the whole bottle yesterday, not just the little tiny ones, so we're excited about that garlic sauce. The other thing is it's really harvest time in Atlantic Canada, so our first recipe that we're gonna start with is I've got these beautiful squash. These are called a delicata squash. I love them, they're sweet. They're the meat inside them, as we say, the fruit that's inside them.
Yeah.
Is a lot sweeter than a regular bigger green squash as we have it. So I've already got 2 of them. And so I cut it in half. And I cut in half really easily. We take all the seeds out. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be seasoning the base of these, but I'm gonna stuff them with some beautiful beef. So yesterday, Mom and I were shopping, as always, at the Rabia store. And Mom, maybe we should make the formal announcement, which will soon be the Rabia Market.
Yeah.
As Faraz told us yesterday in Moncton. So I've got some friends visiting right now that are here they're from Morocco, but they're visiting from Montreal. So I wanted to make sure I have halal beef. So I went yesterday and we've got this beautiful fresh beef. And then I've got some onions here that I cut up. So what I'm gonna do in the frying pan behind me is we're just gonna fry up these onions and the beef together to make a nice mixture. This is what's gonna be going inside of, it just needs to heat up just a little bit longer. It's gonna be going inside with the squash, so we're gonna be making a really nice stuffing. But we do wanna cook the beef just a little bit before we put it in. And it takes any of the little bit of extra fat out of it, and we can season that beef and get some extra flavors. The other thing I'm gonna be putting in with that is some beautiful fresh tomatoes. And now talking about eating local, these are from my backyard. So that's a very short supply chain, as we often say, from here. So I've got some beautiful fresh tomatoes from my yard. They taste like candy. I have to tell you that. Mom and I've been saying that all week long. So I'm gonna put a few of those in with the beef and the onions. The seasoning I wanna have a little bit of fun with today that I'm gonna put in that. So I am gonna put in with the beef, I'm gonna put a little bit of cumin. And I'm gonna put a little bit of onion. These are onion flakes as well, because they give a lot of extra flavor. So when I'm cooking the beef, I'm gonna add those to it. And just staying a little bit focused on health, I'm also gonna add a little bit of turmeric to it. So we wanna just get some of those nice, healthy spices, and it gives a great aroma. So we're gonna be, once we get that in the frying pan, Mom's got it on, we're gonna fry that mixture up. But just as I start with the mixture, in the base, so on the bottom, I just put a piece of parchment paper. And that's just so the squash doesn't stick. These are wonderful because when you serve them, they almost end up like a big portion of a meal for somebody. So what we're gonna have with this, we're gonna have some chicken wings, but we're just gonna have a little bit of a salad. Because you're gonna get a half of one of these is gonna get you a lot of squash and all the stuff that's inside of it. So they're a great trick when you're having dinner parties. And to be honest with you, you can even eat the skin on the outside of these squash once it's been roasted, because it's really thin. But that's up to you. Try not to waste too much when you've got good flavor. But what I'm going to do on the bottom of these is I've got some maple sugar here. And what I'm doing is just on the right against the squash, I'm going to put some maple sugar. And the reason why I'm using the maple sugar, by the way, which is dehydrated maple, and that's because it's a great natural sweetener and it tastes amazing with squash. But the sugar actually sticks to the squash. If I use syrup right now, it would pool in the bottom of it. So I've sprinkled the inside of that really nicely. And I'm just gonna set this aside because we're gonna get the rest of the things cooking and stuffed into those. Set this back here. Mom, that can probably all go in. Yeah. That won't take a little bit. I really just put enough in to cook the two for the time being. I've got some more that I'm gonna cook up later. So Mom's gonna fry that little bit up. I'm just gonna cut a couple of these little tomatoes in half to go inside of it as well. And then the other thing I'm gonna give Mom is a little bit of fresh garlic that's gonna go in to cook with the beef and the onions. And I harvested all my garlic a few weeks ago, and I have to tell you, it's been absolutely amazing. But what's gonna happen with garlic soon is we're gonna plant garlic again. And that garlic's gonna get planted for us to use next year. Because I plant the garlic at the end of September in the earth, and then we right next July. Might put a little salt and pepper. Mom's gonna put a little bit of salt and pepper into the seasoning. And then I'm just gonna give a little bit of that cumin, and we're gonna let some of that get in through there. There we go. Get the seasoning. You can add any warm seasonings you would like to the meat mixture. I say enjoy it. Enjoy those flavors. I was feeling a little connected to Morocco today, so I'm gonna add some extra Moroccan seasoning just to get that connection. So when I cut the tomatoes up, I'm just gonna cut them into quarters. And they're just the little small ones. If you have regular tomatoes, just cut them into bite-sized pieces. And we're not gonna stir them in with the meat and make them hot. They're gonna cook through, so that tomato is gonna create some extra juice that's gonna be inside. The other thing, you can kind of control how much you're cooking. So while I get these few things in, and Mom's just gonna get that meat cooked. Tell me, Mom, when it's about halfway cooked. We're good? No, just a little bit longer. So we're gonna build these and get these into the oven. And then what I'm gonna be doing is making a few preparations for my next recipe I'm now calling it. That's almost perfect. Yeah. So she's gonna bring those over. We're gonna put these in the oven. I've lost my squash, Mom. Squash, I don't know. All right, we're gonna build these together. The other thing I'm gonna add is I love fresh herbs and everything. I think we all do. You wanna bring that right over here, Mom? There's a hot plate right here. Got a nice little Moroccan hot plate. Here we go. Up that down. So it smells amazing. Yeah, it does. Already. So we've got that cooked down it's about 50% cooked. So I just want you to sort of see. Yeah. And it's got, that heat and that the fresh aroma comes through right away. My basil in the way. So with the pans here. Just thank you, Mom. He's getting me a spoon to do this with. So inside each of the tomatoes, each of the sides of the squash, I'm gonna put 4 or 5 tomatoes. So the nice thing when you're making this recipe, you know the ratio you're gonna be stuffing into each one of them. So it's kind of nice. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a little bit of the mixture. And at first, if you notice on the way I cut, one of them is deeper than the
I
other.
see, that's yours.
Oh, the deeper one's mine?
Yeah.
Okay, watch your hands, Mom. So I'm gonna take off some of this fresh basil. And that's gonna be the herb, and all you have to do is tear basil a little bit. And I'm making sure the basil's going in the middle. I'm gonna put another meat layer on this. Because basil is such a gentle herb or a soft herb. If you don't have something over it, you'll probably burn the basil. So you kind of want to stir it into the sauce. You don't want the basil exposed to the heat. And I want to encourage anybody, you can do ground chicken. You can do any different types. I've done these completely vegetarian with some nice lentil mixtures. They're wonderful stuff with the squash. And I can tell you, they're beautiful the next day as well. They heat up well.
And you don't have to stuff them if you don't want to.
Right. Oh yeah, you can just bake the squash, but
Yeah.
this is a stuffed squash recipe,
yeah.
not a baked squash recipe. So I think we've done those after, we're over 1,000 recipes that we've done now over the 4 years. We hope that you come back in and check out. Thank you to all of our YouTube followers. We're just about to hit up over 200. Jawad, that was so exciting. So you see their layer of basil? And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a couple more tomatoes and I'm gonna top that off with a layer of meat. And those are gonna go into the oven. And as you see, oh look, perfect amount of tomatoes. And as I say, and we wanna stuff them really full, they're okay to be overflowing just a little bit.
Cook down in it.
They'll cook, exactly, Mom, they're gonna cook down when they're in the oven. And these are gonna take probably about 35 minutes, cause the squash has gotta cook through. And then when you stuff squash, it needs a little extra time to cook. Oh, I have to tell you, she's got a little piece of the meat really well cooked. The flavor. So there we go, look at those beautiful piles. The colors on them are amazing. So we're gonna put these into the oven. Erica, while we get ready for our next recipe, shall we check out your kitchen?
Sure, I am just rubber gloved and I'm trying not to get like meat on my Mac. I always trim off the little extra bits of fat on the ribs, whether they're beef ribs or pork ribs. I always just trim that off a little bit. An important thing to do when cooking ribs is make sure that you score through the membrane, because that makes them more tender when they're cooking, especially when you're cooking them low and slow. There's nothing worse than biting into a rib and then having this hard piece that you can't get through. So I always make sure that I just score them. I'm just using my lovely Henkel knives that Liam got me for Christmas last year. So I'm just scoring all the ribs. I have taken off quite a bit of extra fat off of these. And once I get them all scored, I will be rubbing them with a dry rub, but I will do one batch of them now just so you can see what I do. So I have pre-mixed. I had to use my mortar and pestle for my garlic because humidity in Atlantic Canada this summer was crazy. And I actually have chunks of garlic powder in my pantry. Yes. So, and we have air conditioning. So this is a hot smoked paprika mixed with the garlic powder. And that's all I use for a dry rub. So I just sprinkle some on and I just really massage that in and cover it all up. I notice, you may notice that these sections are a little bit tinier. I hate cutting them when they're all cooked, so I cut them ahead of time and let them just all cook in the juices, their natural juices. When I put them in the pan, I do add a little bit of vegetable oil to the bottom of the pan, and that just helps them not to stick. They usually don't because of the amount of fat on them. But then once all this is done, I'm actually going to let these sit for a few hours before I put them in the oven. And it's gonna pop myself back up there. I'm gonna let them sit for a few hours before I put them in the oven, and I probably won't realistically cook these to probably like 1 or 2 o'clock, so we can eat around 5-ish. But that's just busy cutting away and seasoning over here.
And it makes sense, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna hear all about what seasoning she puts on those. And I love Erica's cooking tips, because when it comes to beef or pork ribs, they're lean, right? They're really lean cuts of meat. And really it's about the seasoning and the cook time. And they're some of the best cooks of meat that you'll get. So I'm really excited about this next dish. I'm gonna get it into the oven because I'm making a dipping sauce for either the chicken wings, or it could be for ribs or whatever as well. So these are little baby eggplants. I was down visiting my good friends at the Riviera store yesterday. It's my wonderful little clay tagine, or micro pot, really, it's not. Tagine would have the full top. But they're great for baking in the oven because they're really designed to hold the heat. And these are often used for dishes like bisata and other dip dishes. So, and these little baby guys are great because you can eat the skin, you can eat all of it because they're really small. So I'm gonna put these in here. I'm only gonna cut a couple of them in half, and these are just a little baby eggplant. Look at my knife here. Let me show you the inside of those. Right, there's the outside and the inside. And eggplant are really a good healthy fruit for you, or fruit vegetable. They don't have a lot of flavor, so eggplant, as I say, needs to party. It needs to party with something else like zucchini does for some flavor. So I am taking each of these right now and I'm just cutting them in half. Because what I'm gonna do, and I need to use a better knife. Angela mentioned knives. Erica, I work with an Angela, I do this with her all the time. Erica, get good knives. Everybody says that. Wonderful gifts. A lot of people don't cook because they don't have good knives in their kitchens, so they find it complicated. They don't always have to be expensive, but there's some good knives out there. So there's our egg.
And sure.
And sharp, right, Mom? All the eggplants cut in half. And now what I'm gonna be doing is, 1 clove, 2 clove, 3 clove, 4 clove, 5, 6 cloves of garlic. We're gonna pretty much put about 7 or 8 cloves of garlic in and around, mixed with the eggplant. And I'm gonna put a little bit of seasoning over the top of this. And we're just gonna let that bake. So I have a little bit of thyme that's gonna go across, dried thyme. And then I'm gonna use that cumin again. And I'm just gonna run it across the top. A good sprinkle, because that's the nice flavor that I look for. The garlic's gonna give it a really extra boost and punch, as Mom says. And then these are just dehydrated onion flakes. So we're just gonna put a few of those across the top to give that onion flavor, because I'm not putting an onion in there. I'm just gonna grab my olive oil. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna drizzle, and we're gonna say a good amount of olive oil. So probably a couple tablespoons. So everything is well coated across the top. And again, it's not gonna stick in the bottom, it's actually gonna kind of cook much down. Some people might think I'm making a baba ganoush right now with that seasoning. And that's really the simplicity in it. Hopefully you can see the amount of garlic that's right on top of that. And this is gonna go into the oven. Yeah, so our frying pan is warming up, perfect. So that's gonna cook. Mom, I'm gonna put the timer on that, excuse me. And we're gonna check that in 25 minutes, and that should be good. So if you wanna just hit pause here, Mom, for this pause. There we go. I think I'm gonna be having chicken wings for breakfast, quite excited about that too. I'm gonna get some of these chicken wings into the air fryer. Now, a couple of things when you're using an air fryer. Heat it up just like you would a regular oven. So that's been heating up for a few minutes. And hopefully you can hear the sizzle. And we want to make sure that those wings are in there, and I'm going to cook them in a couple of batches, and they're not touching each other. Because that way that works when the air fryer will really work properly. So those are going to go on for 10 minutes. I'll give you that, Mom, to set aside. The other thing that we're making today is some crepes. And, or you often hear the term here called a ploy, which is pretty much a flat pancake. So, I don't eat a lot of wheat, regular wheat, gluten-free would be more what I would do. So this is a really great buckwheat mixture that comes from a place called Corribo Farms or Industries in the far northern part of the province, as I said earlier, up near Edmundston and Grand Falls. In Clare, New Brunswick. So there we have it here. So I feel like we're channeling that part of the province these days. So I've mixed this up, and I think you see on here the way the pancake or the ploy is made is they're not normally flipped over. So we've mixed it, the mixture's here, and I'm just gonna put a little in the pan. And we're gonna build one of these ones, and we're hopefully, is that okay, Mom? And on hot? Yeah. It's not sizzling. We thought the pan was hot, but the pan is not hot. Alright, here we go. So we're getting a little sizzle in the pan. So Mom's just gonna keep an eye on that. But when you're thinking local, and I think about what is local here in Atlantic Canada right now, is a lot of root vegetables. Like I said, we're cooking with squash. Guess what? Blueberries. Blueberries are absolutely amazing and delicious. And I know when Shinobu was here visiting, she's in Japan right now, but Shinobu, I think you went to pick everything when it harvested, didn't you? You picked strawberries, you picked blueberries, right? In Nova Scotia, even more so than New Brunswick, is one of the blueberry capitals of Canada for sure. So, Mom got these, they pick them and they freeze them. So they're frozen perfectly and they don't take any time to thaw. So we're gonna put a couple of these frozen blueberries in the top of it while they're in the pan. Now, my mom used to make faces in my pancakes when I was a kid for this one. We're gonna, what's that? So we're gonna put a few, they're not gonna stick. Oh, yes. We're gonna flip this one over like a regular pancake. But one of the things is when you're doing, I like to do little mini pancakes so that you can eat more, first of all, and try more toppings. And there's a lot of these type of pancakes in a lot of different cultures. When I was traveling in Morocco, there was a lot of these little mini pancakes are served at breakfast, and they're really soft, and you can put whatever ingredients that you want in them. So I'm going to show two different combinations today that are some of my favorite and Mom's favorite when you're doing some mini pancakes. And they're a great way to start your day. You can make them savory or sweet. So this first one that's going to come out is the blueberry pancake. We want you to see how fast, because it's pretty much cooked. She lost a blueberry. That's all right. We've got a few on the side. So there's that, look, that thin pancake with the blueberries right here on it. I think Mom, yeah, she didn't do a flip, which is perfect. It didn't need one. Because the mixture cooks really quickly. We'll get it to one more, one a little bigger. You want a spoon for that? Alright. So what I like to do with this one, with the blueberries. And because you can almost fold them too, is this is maple cream. Versus maple syrup, but you'll still see the syrup dripping up the side. So we're just gonna put a little bit of maple cream. To finish this one off. Mom's over here checking production.
No.
Here we go. Absolutely beautiful. Little buckwheat pancake with that nice little dollop, as we say, or drop of the maple cream in the middle. So you can see with this one, you know, Erica, when you pick up a pancake and it all falls off, the best part about these is they fold in half. So you get every bite of the maple cream that's in the middle of it. So I'm gonna set this off of here and share this one with Mom, even though I really want to bite right now. She's got a big. You go ahead and eat it. I have a bigger one coming. That's a good way to look at it, Mom, right? There's a big one right behind it,
Probably with more blueberries too.
right? Oh, she does have a huge one.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we were gonna do a different inside of that one, but we're gonna bring that one over. That one's not gonna have the blueberries, but. It was gonna have bananas, but Michelle forgot to pick up bananas.
Did you wanna see it?
Yeah. There we go. She wasn't joking, look at this. Shinobu's giving you a good hands up on this one, way bigger.
Go bigger still.
Right, you can see all the little bubbles in that. We're just keeping it a little bit of a low heat, so it'll get a little bit more golden brown on the bottom, yep. And this one's gonna have the peanut butter. This one's gonna be the peanut butter one, Mom.
Oh, right.
Oh, good. Peanut butter and banana sandwiches, we featured those a few weeks back, are one of my absolutely favorite things to get. But what I'm gonna do with this one is two of my other favorite combinations. Is that good? All right, we'll get this right here. She did a great job. It's big enough, it's sticking out over the sides of the side of the pan. We love that. So hopefully you can see all the little bubbles. And the air bubbles, because this type of batter is so light, it doesn't require you actually having to flip the pancake over. You can if you want to. Smells great. So here's what I'm gonna do with this one. I'm gonna sprinkle just a little bit of that maple sugar again across the bottom. I'm getting excited about this even as I see it. It'd be great with a little bit of cinnamon in it as well. But what I do is I've got our wonderful Nutsmith peanut butter here. And I am going to just put some of the peanut butter, through this, because I'm gonna roll this up so it's kind of like a little folded crepe. And I don't know if you remember, Mom, but my other favorite thing, if I didn't have my bananas, is peanut butter and honey. So what I'm gonna do with this one, and this is, you know, it's buckwheat flour. And this is local peanut butter, and there we go. And it might not be local New Brunswick honey, because actually this one's from Morocco, but it was local when I bought it where I was there. And my other favorite thing, we're gonna let it snow a little bit on the top of this, is I'm actually putting a little bit of coconut across the top. Mom, you made this big enough, it almost looks like a bear claw. And for those people here that see Erica laughing, I think Shinobu knows. It's a pastry that you can buy, and we call them bear claws because they're so big. They're the size of a bear claw.
Yeah.
And that's what this one almost looks like. Or a Christmas tree, or a snowman. We have a lot of shapes here,
Whatever.
right?
Use your imagination.
Use your imagination. But really what we want to be able to do is fold these, which this folds up perfectly. And then you've got a wrap. So I am gonna take a bite of this one. Wow. It's like the best version of a peanut butter sandwich. But you get the beautiful buckwheat flour. The crepe or the ploy on the outside of it, pancake. All correct application words. Absolutely delicious. Wow, you're gonna try this one? I'm gonna go back and have a bite of the blueberry. And you can still see the maple cream.
I'll finish it off for you.
Come around here. We have to laugh. Of course, we're doing a production setup in our home. Thank you so much for joining us in our kitchen. We get to enjoy our time together. But we do have an extra microphone on one side, so I often giggle and remind Mom, when you stand over there thinking you're being quiet, you're actually standing right above the main microphone.
This is good.
Right?
I'm glad I made it.
So very fast and easy. Your family will love it. Friends, you can do these in a savory. We're gonna get Mom to do one more up here in a minute. We're gonna show you how to do these because the buckwheat is not as strong or sweet as regular batter, that you can really take and use these as a savory as well. So look, I'm gonna lick the spoon for the peanut butter. So Mom, we just get one more small one of those, if you don't mind. Should take a little break on there. Erica and I were having a great conversation. We're so proud of things that are made in New Brunswick, made in Canada. And there's our Canadian tartan. And you'll see Erica proudly displays our New Brunswick tartan on hers. And Erica, I'm gonna go back over and see what's going on, but tell us a little bit about what's going on with Savoire New Brunswick and how they're doing and promoting local products.
So Savor New Brunswick is a government-led initiative to help bring awareness to local products made within New Brunswick. So now if you walk into a Sobeys store and you see our product along with other products that are affiliated like Some Good, Freezies, and there's I believe Trite's Maples is in there and Steve's Maples. We all have the little Savor New Brunswick tags by our products in the stores. It's just in the very beginning stages, but they're designing a program to help local producers and local manufacturers get their products out to more people throughout New Brunswick. And they're also going to be helping us export into other provinces. So I'm excited about that. It is like very, very, very beginning stages. Like it may take another 6 months to a year before they get everything fully rolling. But as for now, like our new labels, they actually have the Savor New Brunswick logo on there. So even if we didn't have the tartan on here, people would still know that that's a locally produced product in New Brunswick. Other things that are going on at Dunn Right. We're at the Moncton Market. We won't be there next week, but we're there every week after that, unless if we have an event. And because somebody made a good point, you can be in all the stores that you want, but if no one knows what Dunn Right sauce is, how are they going to know to buy your sauce? So we're getting ourselves out there again. To be honest, we've just been like kitchen and making lots of sauce and doing lots of deliveries. We're in lots of stores across Nova Scotia now. We got the go ahead to stock all of Atlantic Canada under the Sobeys umbrella. So that's going to be 195 stores people can get Dunn Right sauce in. There's a lot of other like big things in the works that I can't talk about yet, but we're very excited over. And as for my ribs, I have loaded them all into my pan where I'm just gonna let them sit there and like marinate and do their stuff. So I've heavily coated them with garlic powder, the spicy smoked paprika, and I've heavily coated them with that. You can actually see that it's already like soaking into the meat. So these are going to be like full of flavor. In the last hour, we actually have a new spicy sauce as well that we have made. That's only available in certain stores. It's available at the Old Time Meat Market here in Riverview. Market 37 out in Shediac, the Oromocto Galleria, and a few stores in Ontario. That one's not in like the big, like in Sobeys or anything yet, but so I'm probably going to use our spicy sauce for the ribs instead of, because I like that kick. So basically now I'm just going to cover these in foil.
Yeah, show us what you're doing, what you're cooking.
Okay. That's what I have been doing. And then, so yeah, I'm just going to cover these in foil and I'm going to stick them in my fridge and let them just, I think fighting with foil on camera is one of the worst things to do. So I'm just going to like not tightly cover these, but just tight enough. And I'll put some on the other side and I'm going to stick them in my fridge and let them sit there for probably 3 or 4 hours and let them just marinate in that dry rub.
It's all about the sit, the low and slow, right? We have to let those flavors get together.
Yeah.
And I love ribs, so let me know what time. As we often say, the do you deliver
Yes.
portion of it or what's going on. I'm gonna set these off to the side. We're gonna come right back to those because they look beautiful. So we were talking about our pancakes and how that you can take these beautiful mini pancakes and use them in savory or different ways. So I love to entertain, I love to bring friends over and have them experience all the different things that we're cooking. But if you eat a lot of big things, well, then you can't taste everything. So I had Mom make up one of these more really nice, small, bite size. I feel like it's almost like you're making a little taco. But I'm also laughing because I cut a bunch of tomatoes up and I promptly lost those. It's gonna be one of those days. So we've got these beautiful little Roma tomatoes from our garden out back. And I'm just going to cut a few of those up. And what I'm gonna be using in this, and now if you have it at home, just use a little bit of mayonnaise, whatever. I'm actually gonna be making this a very, very much eat local fusion. Because I'm gonna put a little layer of Delisur's garlic sauce. Perfect. On the bottom of this. So it's like Michelle's micro donair. And I love going to our friends at Kirk Meats here in Moncton. Kirk Sausages is what they were always known for. And we were talking about their meats last week. I just want to say thank you so much for all the support that they're giving to Atlantic Canada Cooks. So we've got our wonderful little sausage guy here. You can see our little Kirk sausage. And I've gotten 2 of their seasoned meats. So this one here on the top is onion. And then on the bottom is a donair meat. Well, for here, donair meats might be one of my favorite meats that you can get. So what I've taken is, there we go. We've taken a piece of the donair meat and we've just put it in the pan just to warm it up. And I have to tell you, the flavors as you warm this up that come out are absolutely to die for. Did I move on the board? So what I'm gonna do, and really I didn't need to fry it, it's already cooked, the meat is ready to eat, it doesn't require you to cook it. But I wanna have that really great flavor. So what I've done is, like I said, quick in the frying pan. Just took a couple of minutes, not even, maybe 1 minute in that hot frying pan. So we've got our pancake with our local buckwheat. And now what I'm gonna take is a couple of beautiful pieces of this meat. And we're gonna put these on. It's gonna be like a mini donair bite is the way I see it. And we're gonna top it off with a couple of those small tomatoes. And as we always say, food is also still meant to be sauce. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that extra garlic sauce on the top of that. And these are wonderful appetizers to serve. Super easy. And if you've got a lot of guests that like different things, you can put out like a taco bar where you can go in and then be able to make these beautiful little micro sandwiches. And they're absolutely amazing. And I want to show people that because I think we often think it's complicated when it's really simple, when you start with great ingredients. And again, Kurt Sausages, they make just a very, very quality product. And actually, I'll top this one off, one more with a couple of our microgreens. And I did have these behind me. See, that even makes it look cuter. So I can tell you, the wings have come out behind Mom and I, and they just smell absolutely to die for. We're looking at everything in the oven. The aromas in our house are amazing. So as we wrap up the final recipes, want you to look at these chicken wings. Absolutely perfectly cooked in the air fryer. I just found my missing tomatoes. I were stuck to the bottom of my plate. I can't even make that up. On a live cooking show, things happen. So we're gonna hold these chicken wings up. They're perfectly cooked in the air fryer and they've got a nice color on the outside. Crispy and tasty. And I thought I had already poured it. So let's do a taste test to these. But you know, let's put a little dipping sauce on these to make sure that we can do that. Let's see here, Erica. I'm not even gonna dip. I'm just gonna pour. Oh. Look at that nice consistency of your sauce. Sticking right to the top of my wing.
I so meant to give you another bottle yesterday, but I was just so excited to see you that it like completely slipped my mind.
Well, I'm gonna run up your way. You know what? I wanna try that spicy. I did taste test it. I see Jawad's giving a big heart. He's like, and bring me one to Morocco. I'll bring you up a package of the BBQ-rubbed to try.
Okay.
An unbelievable combination when two New Brunswick companies are passionate about food and quality. This is the amazing results that you get out of this. Mom's just looking at me. She's gonna have to come over and get her own chicken wing. They're cooked perfectly. Seriously, using the rub overnight. And I don't like to batter my chicken wings because chicken is really good. So just putting a little bit of the rub and then using the sauce as a dip. Great combination. I know I will be enjoying many more of those later. But I was just saying, as we get a napkin here and wipe off my chicken wing fingers. These are great local microgreens, and we're talking about local, and I want to call this company out. It's called Local by Atta. And year round here, because as many of us know, our season gets a little short. Winter comes, snow is here, and we don't have the farmers' fields. We have a lot of really big greenhouses here across Atlantic Canada. And these guys have some of them. And you can get all these beautiful microgreens. And I get one of these and it lasts me for a whole week. And it's really lovely to add on top on your sandwiches, top on top of things that you're having. But thank you so much to Local by Atta. And what a great name and fitting to mention on today's show. So I'm gonna pull these things out of the oven for my last few minutes. We're gonna look at our last few dishes here and I'm gonna pull that eggplant dip together. Moving that, even there's our pre-warning that's happening. But we have a lot of local beverage producers here across Atlantic Canada as well. And I really want people to stop at their local farmers markets. Yeah, you can push that at the back, Mom.
You wanna take that?
Yeah, I need the dip out. So just going back, this is an Appleman Farms, just by Gagetown, New Brunswick. And these guys are making apple and raspberry coolers. They make them with and without alcohol. They're absolutely delicious. So we hope that when you visit here in Atlantic Canada, or if you're one of the lucky people that's coming here for school or for work, that there's a lot of unbelievable local things that are out. Here with the Mom. Get that. That looks perfect. And it is sizzling. Oh, it smells amazing. So there is our beautiful eggplant and our garlic. Actually, it is going to need to be cooked a little longer because my garlic is not as soft as I'd like it to be. So you can see that cooking down. We really want to get those garlic cloves. You can see they're a little white and they're still not soft enough for me to push my fork through. So those are probably going to need about another 15 minutes. But the smell is amazing. When this comes out, I am going to run all of this mix through the blender and we'll show that finished product afterwards that it's going to have. And that is adding just another dip that you can use with bread and you can use on top of things. But it's a great way to use your eggplant. And to be honest with you, this would be delicious eaten just like this. It doesn't need to be blended. This in itself is a perfect dish. But it is not perfectly cooked. So we're going to be putting that back into the oven because we want to see that garlic get toasty brown colored. So it's going to just fall apart. But I think the other ones, we're going to be able to show them. The squash isn't perfectly cooked through, but you're going to have a good idea as we end off today. And we're going to show our squash. Yeah, and I'll get that out, Mom, just because it's a big hot pan, so I'm gonna help Mom get this out. They look perfect, but I know they're almost done. We're gonna get this up and be able to show how this looks. Can hear them. Can still hear it cooking. Actually, those are really close to being done. So what I often do at this point is I'll serve them as is because they're perfectly cooked. Or the other thing that I'll do with this is I'll add a little bit of cheese and let that cheese melt down through. So if you want to add a little bit of dairy, it depends on what you're looking at in your diet, but they smell amazing. Smell that, Mom. Oh. And as you see, you serve that to one, it has the meat. And it has all your vegetables and it's in a bowl that you can eat the bowl.
It's almost a meal in one.
It's almost a meal in one and just have a little piece. So I am going to put these right back in for the last couple of minutes.
We've barbecue chicken stuffed squash and it's so good. So
I wish more people would stuff more things in squash. And different dishes. So as we come on over here around with our final dishes for today, we hope you've enjoyed local chicken wings. We've got our local pancakes that we had. We had our blueberry, we've got sweet and savory, and Erica for sharing your rib dishes. And we will make sure we share those final pictures of both mine and your dishes, Erica, with everybody later. Follow along on our YouTube channel. We're really excited about the growth with that. We're adding a lot more short videos. So if you want to take the time, we would love you to join us in our kitchen. Get inspired and please get out and shop at those local restaurants. Get into the local markets and look in our food stores for those signs where you know that those were producers from your area. And do that around the world because we know that the same thing exists here all over the world where our smaller producers are creating top quality products.
Definitely.
And I know Mom and I spend most of our weeks enjoying them, but I'm gonna end on the one last thing I am gonna eat as well, Mom.
Of course.
Yeah, right? That. But just as we finish
Oh, yeah.
up, we're gonna open up this empanada. This was his new one, and it, of course, was a Spanish name, and I'm trying to remember how to say it, but this was a special one, and it is filled with beef tenderloin.
And he did the beef on a barbecue, a coal barbecue, up at gas one.
Exactly, and I know for especially for any of my Moroccan friends would love it, all done on charcoal.
Yeah,
You can see the steam coming out of it,
delicious.
but look at the amount of beef, and that is pure beef tenderloin. That was, like Mom said, it was slowly barbecued on
Yeah.
a charcoal barbecue.
Yeah.
That's
So the difference in that flavor, so eat local, have fun, and stay healthy. And we're gonna look forward to seeing you next week, because you know what, we're gonna be talking about coffee. It is International Coffee Day.
Oh, did you catch me eating one?
She's thinking I can't see her because she's beside me. She's forgetting she's in the video camera right in front of me. No, absolutely.
Oh, that's good.
Good, see, you can't fake that look.
Mm.
So from our kitchens to yours, and Erica, thank you so much for doing it. It was so good to see you and Liam
It was
at the market.
you, and thank you for having us. Like it's been too long. It was nice. I really enjoyed being on the show today.
And you enjoy those ribs.
I'm gonna enjoy the chicken.
Yeah, Mom's like, I don't care what I eat for breakfast anymore, because remember some of our international guests, but it is 9 a.m. in the morning, well, 10 a.m. now. So it doesn't matter what you eat, as long as you're eating with people that you love and you're having good food. So stay healthy, and we'll be seeing